Yeah, I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani. It's you kind of expect. So it's cool to see him do it in action, but it's fires me up even more. Coming back the next at bat and striking him out.
I was kind of wowed by it. I looked up at the board to see how hard it was hit. A couple came in here, and our strength coach was like, "You just were saying, wow." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dang, it's crazy to hit a ball that hard." But these are great players, and the best players to ever play. Yeah, it's a lot of guys in that lineup, some really tough at bats that some went my way, some went theirs. It's pretty cool.
But yeah, in watching show, you feel like, all right, well, like my job's not that hard. He's doing all this and he's the best at both of them. So, but I also think about how much fun that would be to like just know that you're the best player on earth. So it's pretty cool. He works so hard at what he does, and that's obviously part of why he's so good. Is
今現役で活躍する若手スター投手たちまでもが大谷選手の凄さを自分の言葉で語っています。初対決でホームランを打たれた投手、二刀流の大変さを実際に知っている元二刀流の選手、そして同じチームで間近に見てその異常さを実感した投手、彼らの言葉を追っていくと数字だけでは語りきれない大谷選手の偉大さが見えてきます。どれだけ準備をしてマウンドに上がってもそれを超えてくる存在。若手スター投手たちが口を揃えて言うのは敗れた悔しさではなく、その圧倒的な才能への純粋な敬意なのです。ということで今回の動画では実際にマウンドで大谷選手と向き合ってきた若手スター投手たちのインタビューを通して大谷選手の本質に迫っていきます。それではまず今シーズンここまで大躍動しているジェイコブ・ミジオロウスキー投手のコメントからご覧ください。昨年大谷選手にホームランを打たれた経験を持つミジオロウスキー投手、ルーキーだからこそ持てた強気な心理とそれを超えてくる大谷選手の存在感をご覧ください。
It's awesome to finally work back from giving up a home run lead off the game, but it is what it is, and I think that's my job, is to figure it out on the fly, and I feel like I did it tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani. It's you kind of expect. So it's cool to see him do it in action, but it's fires me up even more. Coming back the next at bat and striking him out. So it's just I'm right there, and I think it was the moment of okay, now we go. No words. I'm just in awe of those guys and making those plays that they did, and it's awesome. I mean, it's just proves that I'm doing my job that I can, and they're back there doing theirs, and it's a success to win ball games. I'm fired up for every out, every inning. So, whenever I have a good inning, you're going to see me get pumped up and fly off the field. So, I'm trying to, root the team on and do my job and make it easy for the guys behind me. It's so satisfying. I mean, it's just a dream come true to, do what I did. And it's awesome that it was against the Dodgers, but, it's no words for it. All respect in the world to Trace Kershaw and the 3,000 Ks. It's awesome to see a guy like that and match up against him. But I saw something on online that he didn't know who I was, so I hope that he knows me now.
So how much that Dodgers start just kind of mean to you, and kind of how much confidence did it give you to kind of pitch that way against that team? Obviously, kind of lead them here.
Yeah, I mean, you give up a home run to Shohei, and you're kind of just okay, there it is. You got it out of the way pretty quick, so now you're just throwing the ball. So I think it was one of those things that you just realize, okay, let's just go. I don't think it would change anything, so it was just how it worked.
That's one of those games that helps you, kind of validate, okay, I can pitch this against a team like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of those games that you look back on, you're like, okay, now we go. Now it starts.
Jacob, a few weeks ago, you were just making your debut, and now you're here at the All-Star game this season. So what have you made of these 2 weeks, and what has kind of the whirlwind felt like?
It's been crazy. Yeah, I mean, the last 5 weeks have been insane. I think it's, one of those things that you can't really sit back, and I was hoping for the All-Star break to be one of those times you could sit back and, kind of reflect on everything, but, we're here now, and we're doing this, so there's hasn't really set in yet. We're just kind of still going.
打たれてもいい、あとは投げるだけという切り替えの速さ。それがミジオロウスキー投手のその後の好投につながっているのかもしれません。次にご紹介するのは、レッズのエース、ハンター・グリーン投手です。100マイル超えの投球数がリーグ最多を誇り、 次世代のエースとして名を馳せるグリーン投手はプレーオフという最高の舞台で大谷選手と対峙しました。最速の投手の一人として知られる彼がそれでも信じられないと語る大谷選手の真の凄さとは何なのかご覧ください。
Hey, Hunter, how are you? Good. You had a start here at Dodger Stadium not long ago. Just wondering what you think you can pull from that and do to maybe have a better outcome.
Every game is different, so like I said earlier, the process is the same. Obviously taking each pitch at a time, each batter at a time, each hitting at a time, and being able to just execute, make pitches, and fall let the cards fall where they may. I put it in God's hands, and I can't control that. All I can control is my process, and taking one pitch at a time, and having the utmost confidence in myself to execute.
Throw right in the middle, Hunter.
Just out of curiosity, what was kind of life in the bullpen like yesterday? Did you take anything from a different vantage point? Any different feeling watching a baseball game from down there?
Yeah, it's a little harder to follow just because you're a lot further from the action. Obviously, being in the dugout, you're used to being closer to all the plays and even the interactions of the players coming into the dugout after the innings. So definitely a different perspective being out there, but it was really, really, really cool just from the opportunity to see it from our relievers' perspective, the ups and downs of the game, the emotions, the roller coaster of just all of that stuff, and it was just really, really cool to be able to see it from that perspective. And I don't know if I'll ever, be in that position again. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But just an appreciation for kind of the mental toughness and strength that it takes for relievers to, obviously get it done. Lodolo coming out of the game, he had like 2 minutes to warm up. So seeing him trying to flip that switch in a position he's never been in, and obviously trying to get the job done, it was special, but pretty cool to see from that perspective.
Third row on your left, Hunter.
Hi, I want to ask you about Shohei Ohtani. You haven't allowed many hits or home runs to Shohei. What's been the key to facing him?
Just continuing to double down on strengths and knowing who I am as a pitcher and having the utmost confidence in myself. Like I said, I'm obviously a great talent, but I'm also in the big leagues as well. So continuing to just believe in myself, and like I said earlier, it's really just about taking one pitch at a time and being able to execute to the best of your ability.
自分の強みを信じて真っ向から挑むというグリーン投手の姿勢。それでも一球一球全力で向き合わなければならない相手だということが伝わってきましたね。しかしこのインタビューの後、シリーズ初戦のマウンドに上がったグリーン投手はドジャースの先頭打者として打席に入った大谷選手にソロ本塁打を浴びています。その時大谷選手の凄さを改めて感じたのかもしれません。続いてご紹介するのは同じパイレーツのエースとしてスキーンズ投手と共にチームを引っ張るバッパ・チャンドラー投手です。プロデビューからわずか数試合、まだメジャー初失点すら経験していなかったルーキーが3戦目のドジャース戦でマウンドに上がりました。打たれるわけないと向かっていった先に待っていたのは大谷選手の打球速度120マイルの洗礼でした。キャリア初の失点が大谷選手のホームランだったというデビューをチャンドラー投手はどう受け止めたのでしょうか。大谷選手との対決後のインタビューと子供の頃から見てきたスターたちが並ぶドジャース打線の独特の空気感が伝わってくるコメントをご覧ください。
Bob, this was your second win tonight. This one had a little more maybe trials and tribulations to it. What'd you make overall?
Yeah, I think early we were trying to get ahead with fastballs. It's a really good lineup over there, so they can hit heaters. And I wasn't hitting my zones the way I needed to, leaving a lot of balls down, a lot of balls middle. But yeah, definitely a grind. I'm glad the last 2 innings went, how I wanted them to. But definitely a good experience. They're one of the best teams in the big leagues for a reason. Held my own and got some good pitches thrown and a couple homers off me. But whatever, it's cool stuff. But yeah.
I guess giving up your first major league run.
Yeah.
I guess can you live with that it was Ohtani and a home run?
I mean, yeah. Like you don't want to give up runs, but you're going to give them up. But yeah, definitely. I was kind of wowed by it. I looked up at the board to see how hard it was hit. A couple came in here, and our strength coach was like, you just were saying, wow. I was like, yeah, I was like, dang, it's crazy. You hit a ball that hard, but you know, these are great players, and the best players to ever play. Yeah, it's a lot of guys in that lineup, so really tough at bats that, you know, some went my way, some went theirs. It's pretty cool. Can't complain. Give up a homer to show it, but whatever.
DK had talked about making adjustments in game and how impressive that is, especially for a young guy. You know, how much of a growing moment do you think that was for you to be able to do that and control yourself and, like you said, finish out strong?
Yeah, you know, I got to make adjustments. You know, what I was doing, you know, wasn't working most of the time. You know, kind of, you know, I wasn't really getting ahead with my off speed, and then, you know, come back with fastballs. It was just a lot of fastballs, and the off speed just wasn't where it needed to be. And the ones that were in zone were very hittable pitches that, you know, ended up getting hit. So yeah, it was more of a, all right, you know, we gotta figure out what makes me tick. You know, how can I get the ball to the left side of the plate? And I think I did that really well the last 2 innings.
The pitch to Shohei, like, did you locate it exactly where you wanted it, or like was it?
Oh no. Trying to go up with him, and I just threw it right where he wanted it, and he, you know, he made me regret it. But yeah, you know, balls hit really hard, you know, so not gonna complain about giving up that homer. You know, the ones that are cheap, you're like, all right, out of that ball, get out. Come on. But that one was, yeah, you know, I made a mistake, and he exploded it, so I can't be too mad at myself. But, yeah,
ミスを完璧に捉えられたという言葉に、大谷選手の凄さが凝縮されていましたね。初の失点という洗礼を受けながらも、後半で立て直してみせたチャンドラー投手。その経験は確かに次へのステップになっているようです。さて、ここまでの3人は敵としてマウンドから大谷選手と向き合った投手たちでした。次にご紹介するのは、敵としてではなく、チームメイトとして大谷選手の隣に立っているジャスティン・ロブレスキー投手です。毎日同じロッカールームで過ごし、ポストシーズンの修羅場を共に戦い抜いた投手が語る大谷選手とはどんな存在なのか。ホームランを打たれた投手たちとも、数字を見たファンとも、また違う視点がそこにはありましたので、ご覧ください。
Okay, so we showed all your World Series highlights, and you showed all these pictures of you with the trophy, and you're hanging out with all your teammates. But you know who was missing from those photos? Shohei. All right, do you have a picture with Shohei? Because I was fortunate enough to get my picture with Shohei about a month ago. So do you actually have a picture of Shohei and yourself?
I don't. I'm too nervous to ask him. You know, it's kind of tough to just be like, yo, Show, you want to take a picture right now? Like, I'm sure, you know, being the guy he is, he'd say yes right away. But like, that guy's got a lot of things to do. You know, he's got to go eat 6 innings and punch out 13 people, and then he's got to hit 3 home runs, and so he's got a lot to do. He's got media to worry about. He's got, you know, he's got a family, so like he's got a lot on his plate. So I don't want to, you know, bother him with a picture. You know, when he's got so much going on. But no, I'm sure Show would be just fine if I walked up and said, "Hey, let's take a picture." But at the same time,
even on shirtless
I know I was there.
Even on shirtless Sundays, would he be okay with that?
Do you feel like you don't do enough when you watch all the stuff that he does?
I feel like that so there's certain guys, and I think, you know, if you've been in baseball long enough, you know, like there's certain guys that are in the weight room for 4 hours doing all this crazy stuff. And then there's certain guys that don't need as much time. And so it's like, you just have to figure out what you need to do to get ready. It's funny. I've been talking about this the past couple of days to like keep your body where you need to be. But yeah, in watching Show, you feel like, all right, well, like my job's not that hard. You know, he's doing all this and he's the best at both of them. So, but I also think about how much fun that would be to like just know that you're the best player on earth. So it's pretty cool. He works so hard at what he does. And that's obviously part of why he's so good is he has the God-given talent. And then on top of that, he works really hard at his craft. And yeah, it's impressive to watch. It's impressive to see how he like fits everything in and weaves it. And, you know, while playing a game where you play so many games in a season, and it's impressive. It's, you know, special. It's, you know, everything you'd think of him. He's better. It's crazy.
ロブレスキー投手の言葉には 毎日近くで見ているからこそ出てくる言葉の重みがありましたね。そして次にご紹介するのはメッツのノーラン・マクリーン投手。2024年7月までカウボーイ大谷というあだ名を持つ二刀流プロスペクトでした。かつて自分も投打両方でプロの世界に挑もうとした投手だからこそ、大谷選手の凄さを語る言葉にはまた重みがあります。自ら WA まで投打を続けた経験を持ち、その限界も知っているマクリーン投手が大谷選手を見て感じることとは何なのかご覧ください。
You probably don't know this, but you've become kind of a cult figure on this show since you've been drafted. With your success pitching, ability to hit, the towering home runs, the fact that when you got drafted by the Mets, they were very down to let you to continue to do both, not have to go to just pitching or just hitting. We have nicknamed you Cowboy Ohtani. This is something, it kind of came to us right away. We're like, listen, Oklahoma State player, hits towering home runs, nasty stuff pitching. Do we have your thoughts? Can we get a grade on the scale of 1 to 10? Do we have to workshop this, Nolan?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I'm not a huge nickname guy, but I mean, that one's pretty sweet, so we'll take it. Anytime you can be compared to Ohtani, I guess it's pretty all right. So
obviously being a two-way player is not exactly commonplace yet in pro ball. Prior to the draft, did you have conversations with teams and specifically the Mets about your desire to do both professionally?
Yeah, I mean, plenty of teams wanted me to just pitch. There was a few teams who wanted me to just hit. But I still wanted to pursue doing both and just kind of see where it took me for as long as I could. And the Mets made it pretty obvious that like they were really interested in it, and it ended up working out on draft day that they got to pick me, and it's been really fun ever since.
You probably never forget your major league debut. I mean, I don't think anybody does, but yours was particularly memorable. Your parents were in the crowd. Take us back to that day when you got called up and were on a big league mound for the first time.
Yeah, so they told me earlier in the week, and so that moment, like, called my dad. He was at work, so he didn't answer. So I called my mom and told her, and she was crying. I called my fiance. She started crying. And my dad ended up calling me back and said, "Hey, do you need something?" And I'm like, "What are you doing Saturday?" He's like, "I think I got to go into work Saturday too." I'm like, "Well, you probably need to get out of that." He was like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm pitching in the big leagues on Saturday." And he just hits me with, "Okay, nice."
That's awesome. That's
so a couple different reactions out of my parents there, but it was definitely special once I took the ball and got to go out there and compete.
Hey, I'm looking at that backhand play you made in that game, and I'm thinking about the athlete that you are. You were a two-way player. You played a lot of shortstop. I think that's true as a kid growing up. So how important was the two-way player in preparing you to be the big leaguer you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything in my past kind of just got me to the point I was, just playing multiple sports, multiple positions in baseball, and just never really getting over mechanical. Just trying to be the best athlete I could. Obviously, mechanics are a big part, but I try to not go out there and overthink it and just be an athlete.
You know, we were talking earlier. You were pitching and hitting all the way up to AA. And now, how difficult was that to give it up, but how important was it for you to make a decision to be able to say, hey, I don't know if I can physically do this? Or can you physically do it?
Yeah, it was definitely tough, especially on the body, like right around the middle of the season. It was my first full season starting as a starting pitcher as well. So that was an adjustment on top of trying to get at bats 5 days a week was another adjustment. And just by the All-Star break, my legs were shot. And I just talked to some of our guys, and I was just like, hey, I think I need to just try pitching. It might not be permanent, but I think this is the best route for me for right now.
I mean, the obvious is
feel better and better.
When you see Shohei do this, how do you just marvel? How does he do this?
It's spectacular. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's able to be that good on both sides of the ball. Because I mean, not only like were my legs shot pitching, like in the box, like I mean, you know, when you play every single day, like your legs are toast sometimes when you get in the box. So the ability for him to be as consistent as he is remarkable.
The obvious one for me is, I mean, Nolan is he's Woody Williams 2.0, right? Big 12 team, shortstop, pitch, little touch of ginger in the beard, Google Woody Williams, Nolan. That's your guy.
He
man.
loves the look.
That's
Tom.
your guy.
Hey, I just want to finish this, and then Matt's going to wrap this up. But Roger Clemens, he and I were talking about a conversation of how he got in the box in an all-star game. And Dwight Gooden threw a fastball, and he turned to the umpire and said, "I throw that hard?" And the umpire said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'll never throw another fastball." And from that time on, I've always thought about the advantage that Ohtani has having pitched and get in the box and understand how to pitch to hitters. Has that being the elite hitter like yourself up to AA ball, has that helped you as a pitcher?
Yeah, I think so. I think just from like a game plan perspective, I mean, I had a plan going into the box when I was hitting. So I know that as a pitcher, these guys are going to have plans and try to exploit me the best they can. So I'm almost trying to game plan against myself a little bit in like a hitter mind, and then figure out how I would get myself out in the other way. So it's definitely beneficial, I think.
マクリーン投手の言葉には、元二刀流選手だからこそわかる身体的な限界の話が重なっていましたね。そして最後にご紹介するのが、2024年に新人王、2025年には満票でサイ・ヤング賞を受賞し、MLB 屈指のエースへと駆け上がったポール・スキーンズ投手です。大学時代は自ら二刀流に挑み、オールスターでは同じダグアウトを共にし、そして実際のマウンドでも大谷選手と真っ向勝負を繰り広げた彼が語る言葉には、また格別の重みがあります。ご覧ください。
Yeah, right. I've seen you this year. I've seen some Shohei shit. Have you been seeing him pitch this year? Do you watch other pitchers? How do you kind of feel about the state of pitching in baseball right now?
I would say, I mean, pitching is probably as good as it's ever been, and it'll probably only continue to get better. I think pitching evolves very quickly. Yeah, Shohei's, he makes me really glad I'm not a hitter anymore. I don't want to face guys like him.
He's kind of struggling with it, I guess they're saying. I'm not saying this. They are saying that now that he is full-time pitcher, the hitting is not as, he was like MVP hitter or whatever, prolific hitter as it was last year. They're saying it was a balance. You, former catcher, obviously hit, and also pitcher. The thought of him being able to accomplish, like Travis Hunter, when Travis Hunter came into the NFL, we were all pulling for him. Like we were all like hoping that he would be able to accomplish something that nobody's ever been able to do. But whenever you would ask guys that were potentially in those positions, they'd be like, it's going to be really hard. That is going to be a very, very hard thing at the professional level on his body, on his mind, on everything. For you with pitching, the breaks in between, it's an all-encompassing. We're working on becoming better pitcher at all times. And at one point in your life, did you want to hit and pitch?
I wanted to hit and pitch for most of my life, and then when I was at LSU, I was hitting and pitching and had a pretty good fall, and then they just stopped putting me in BP groups. I found out after the fact that our pitching coach told all our pitchers that they couldn't throw inside on me, so I guess that's why. That's probably one of the reasons I had a good fall. But yeah, they just stopped putting me in BP groups, and there was no conversation. They just said it was just, hey, you're not pitching anymore, but no words were said. I think it was just an understanding that we came to. So my body feels a lot better when I'm just pitching.
And Paul, you've allowed a home run to Shohei Ohtani before, but to have him support you in this game, that 3-run shot, how did that feel for you? And then what is it like to pitch against a guy like Shohei?
Yeah, I tried to enjoy, the 3 hours or so that I had on the same team with him. Because that's probably only going to happen for once a year. So it was really cool to watch him do that. Really cool to watch him go about his business and get to meet him and all that. He's I don't know of any hitter that I've faced that's better than him in my career, and so to be able to share a dugout with him was surreal.
Paul, going back to Ohtani again, you were a two-way player before in college. Did you have a chance to talk to him and pick his brain a little bit, or, maybe on pitching?
Yeah, a little bit. More so I just wanted to kind of watch him work. A guy like him, I'm sure everybody's probably going up to him, so I kind of tried to stay out of his way. But talked to him about a couple different things, and watched him. I mean, I was in the weight room when he was in the weight room, and just tried to watch him, kind of do his thing and learn from that. Not really. I mean, it's kind of what I would expect from a guy like Shohei. In terms of how he goes about his business, it's big league.
バッターじゃなくてよかったという言葉には、 スキーンズ投手の本音が滲んでいましたね。また、年に一度しかないオールスターの空間で、スキーンズ投手は大谷選手をただのスターとしてではなく、これまで対戦した中で一番の打者とまで表現しています。自分から積極的に話しかけるより、ウェイトルームでの動きや普段の振る舞いを見て学ぼうとしていたというのは、同じ一流選手から見ても参考になる存在だったということでしょう。しかし、大谷選手の本当の凄みは、同じベンチにいる時だけでは終わりません。実際にマウンドから真正面に立ってみると、その印象はさらに強烈なものになるのです。2024年の大谷選手とスキーンズ投手の初対決。最初の打席では3球連続100マイル超えの速球で空振り三振を奪いながら、その後の打席ではその100マイル級のボールを大谷選手に仕留められました。まさに怪物と怪物の対決。その体験を経た後、スキーンズ投手が何を語ったのか、大谷選手へのリスペクトが濃く現れているコメントをご覧ください。
Yeah, I mean, just one you had to compete. They're a good team. Team win today for sure. Just had to, kind of grind through it a little bit.
Paul, how would you assess the Ohtani at bat, the home run? You blew 3 heaters by him first at bat, got two more fastballs by him in that second at bat, and then 3-2 count fastball he hit deep. Just are there just moments where you just have to tip your cap to a hitter?
Yeah, I like to call that big on big because I obviously beat him a couple times earlier, and I think that was the right pitch to throw there. He's a pretty darn good player, so stuff like that's going to happen.
As a player at this level, I know you have a ton of respect for Ohtani. What did you appreciate about that test match tonight?
Yeah, you got to kind of tip your cap. He's a good player, and stuff like that's going to happen. They're obviously really good players too, and frankly, that's why we play the game is for matchups like that. So, not happy I gave it up, but it's part of the game.
You would like to have the first inning that you did.
It was cool. It's always nice to settle into a game like that.
That first at bat against Ohtani, are you thinking 3 fastballs coming in, or is it just reading the at bat? Let's just keep challenging him.
Yeah, just reading the at bat. Saw that we could hopefully beat him with that, and kept going there, and it worked.
さて、いかがでしたか。6人それぞれが大谷選手という存在に向き合い、その凄さを言葉にしました。マウンドで打ち砕かれた投手、同じダグアウトで背中を見続けている投手、自らの二刀流の限界を知った上で語った投手、それぞれの立場は違っても言葉の向かう先は一つでした。プロの世界で100マイルの球を投げ、打者を力で抑え込んできた若手投手たちが、それでも越えられない壁として認識する存在、それが大谷選手の本当の凄さを何より物語っているのかもしれません。打たれた経験も、同じダグアウトで見た姿も、ウェイトルームで目撃した背中も、全部が次世代を担う彼らの糧になっています。大谷選手が野球界に与える影響はグラウンドの上だけにとどまらず、次の世代の投手たちをも動かし続けているのです。この動画をご覧いただきありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、高評価もぜひよろしくお願いします。それでは次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。